I found myself homeless when I was pregnant. It was the worst feeling ever, and I never imagined that I would never not have a roof over my head. Being homeless sucks.
I've heard people say you can't become homeless if you have kids, but that's not true. I found myself homeless with my daughter when my landlord wanted their house back to live in. I didn't have a choice. I didn't have hundreds of pounds spare to move into another house. I had to go to the council for help. We were homeless for nearly 2 years, staying in temporary accommodation. It's not what I ever wanted for my daughter. If it can happen to us, it can happen to anyone.
At the age of 17, I failed the college course, and the year after I was trained to go into the Navy, and I tried college again. The coursework and the stress of college and being pushed into the Navy was too much for me to handle. That began the relationship breakdown with my parents. My depression and anxiety became anger. I found myself in a situation that I thought was impossible. I was homeless, it was February, and I needed to find a place to stay. I had friends who were kind enough to let me stay over for a small amount of time. However, there is only so long you could stay in friends' places. I was lucky, I did not end up on the streets, but I was homeless.
Homelessness is a very strong and powerful word. What is its meaning? Does it mean you are to take drugs? Sleep in shop doorways? Look at me, what do you see? I'm out fishing, a hobby from my childhood. Yes, I may have a drink, but you would too when having some you time, yes? I am just a normal guy, living a normal life.
I became homeless about 6 or 7 years ago. The accommodation that I was living in was my partner's place of work. Therefore, I had no legal tenancy rights. After 12 years, my partner decided to evict me very suddenly. I found myself homeless without any legal redress at all. This was very disconcerting. I had to make very urgent decisions and eventually found some accommodation in Wales for myself and the 2 dogs that I had, which were a further complication in the eviction. The impact this had upon me was to make me feel very depressed. Anyone could find themselves in these circumstances.
After leaving the military, I became quite unwell and was eventually diagnosed with PTSD. I was unable to work, unable to cope, and unable to manage even simple daily tasks. I very quickly got behind in my rent payments and struggled to resolve this with face-to-face meetings with my landlord. My life really did seem to fall to bits. It was heart-wrenching, soul-destroying, and leaving me with a sense of self-worthlessness. Since receiving help and support, my life now feels more secure and my future looks much brighter.
My landlady wanted her house back, so I had to leave. but I'm not your typical homeless person that you might think of. I was already a pensioner at that point. I had been a professional person all my working life, and I did not choose to become homeless. The realization that I could suddenly lose everything that mattered to me was devastating.
Mae sefyllfa cartrefedd pobl yn gallu bod yn fregus, ac maen nhw'n aml yn cael eu hunain mewn argyfwng tai, heb fod bai arnyn nhw o gwbl.